Howdy, this is Alex Roll, a sophomore general studies major at Texas A&M University. Alex, I have a couple questions for you today. What is a topic or subject that you can tell is important, but you have little or no expertise?
I would say one topic that is relevant today and I feel like I hear some stuff about it. But I also I know it's bad and definitely negatively affects people, but I just have not really any more information other than that. I would say it's the refugee crisis. Yeah, internationally.
Do you have a time that you can think of that you pretended to know something more than you did about it?
No, time does not come to
All
mind.
right. After that interaction, after realizing, oh, I actually don't know that much about it, what steps do you think you would take to educate yourself on the subject?
Um, I think one would definitely just be kind of hearing different people's experience. I think is one way to easily find out more information. Um, just talking to people that have maybe either been impacted themselves or family that has been impacted. I think would definitely provide more knowledge, and then just on top of that, um, probably maybe reading about it on some trusted news source.
Awesome. My next question is, what social issue do you feel like you've been most influenced by propaganda, misinformation, or disinformation?
One that immediately comes to mind is COVID, which might be a hot take and kind of uh controversial, but I do think that has most been influenced by propaganda. Or I think during the time it was obviously very scary and dangerous, and my heart goes out to anyone that knows people, or obviously it was very sad and people lost their lives to COVID, and I'm not denying that. But I do think because of all the media, and then you would see celebrities promoting what Fauci said and stuff. I just think it was very not overplayed, but very just yeah, I just think obviously it was horrible. It was not ideal for anyone in the world. But I think even after certain organizations and press just continue to press kind of continue to kind of stay and stay inside still. People still need to be wearing masks. And I think, I mean, there's even research about there was one point where, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot wearing a mask was even doing. So I do think that is one issue, or not even issue, just topic that's semi recent that was heavily influenced by media and stuff.
Okay, and then who gains lack of clarity in the COVID era from the public not truly knowing what was actually going on?
And I think the World Health Organization was gaining. I think the government was gaining money. I mean, there was a certain point in time where hospitals were writing off deaths as COVID related just for financial purposes, because those would make more money. And I just kind of think that's scary, because that just kind of leaves a lot of room for corruption and yeah. So I do think the World Health Organization gained from the lack of clarity, and that's one that comes to mind, but I feel like there are definitely more.
All right, and then my final question is, who do you think loses from lack of clarity with the general public on the social issue of COVID?
I think families for sure. I think individuals. Thankfully, my parents were. Obviously, we stayed safe and stuff, but my school back in Austin, I was able to um, resume sophomore year as normal. We were online doing Zoom for like 2 weeks of the year, and then we were able and fortunate enough to be able to go back to school, obviously with wearing masks. We had the shields like everywhere. We had to walk like one way in the hallway. So still taking precautions, but I do think like I was fortunate. I know that like not everyone, like my friends in public school, still like had to stay home like most of sophomore year. I just think like stuff like that, like I think maybe the public school system was so like, no, this is what is said, like we're just gonna take it as that, everyone stays home, it's not safe, blah blah blah. And so I think a lot of people kind of lost from that, just because like you now see people who like there's kind of a huge gap in education, just because like that was sophomore year when a lot of this stuff was supposed to be learned, and like it's all kind of missing. And obviously it varies person to person whether you relied solely on like cheating for sophomore year or actually did your work. I also just think like individuals, like so many people, I feel like the anxiety and isolation and like depression rates just drastically increased throughout COVID and even post-COVID. I think it kind of just, and I just can't help but wonder like if it wasn't pushed so hard enough, like you have to stay indoors, you can't be seen outside, like if that stuff wasn't pushed so hard like on society, like if those rates, how that would have changed them. And like, yeah, I think a lot of people were really scared because of what was being said. And I'm just like, is that really necessary? Like, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
All right, great. Thank you, Alex.
No problem.